And voters in Baltimore City and all across the state saw a handful of questions on their ballots during the election. We've been closely following statewide question 1 and also a number of measures right here in Baltimore City. WJZ Live on your corner tonight. Tara Lynch has the latest on these measures, what passed and what comes next now. Tara, good evening.
Rick, good evening. You know, we hear from voters leading up to the election, and one of the things that they told me, some of them at least, is that those questions were really critical for them, and one of the reasons they wanted to get out there and make their voice heard. So as you said, we've been following questions right here in Baltimore City. That includes question F, which was about, development at the Inner Harbor, whether that should be allowed or not, as well as question H, which was about the city council size. Should it be smaller or stay the same? We also were following question 1, which of course was set to codify reproductive rights in the state's constitution. For some voters, ballot questions are a main reason to head to the polls to make their choice on what happens on their corner. Baltimore City voters had 8 ballot measures to decide, including question F, which removes the public park designation at the Inner Harbor, making way for development projects like the Harbor Place redevelopment. The voters approved this.
We will see a new Inner Harbor. Baltimore is in many ways stood up for what we know to be right.
There could be, again, more citizen input, which would allow people to express support or opposition, and maybe even some negotiation about what tweaks might be made.
Protect Baltimore's Parks challenged this proposal in the Maryland Supreme Court earlier this year. In a statement, the organization says in part, we're not discouraged and will stick to our plan to protect all city parks with a charter amendment in 2026. City voters denied question H, which called for reducing city council districts from 14 to 8. It was proposed by People for Elected Accountability and Civic Engagement, also known as PEACE, and financially backed by St. Clair Broadcast Group Chairman David Smith, who owns WBFF and the Baltimore Sun. According to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, this is the second time in 25 years a ballot question has been rejected.
Folks know who was doing it and why they were doing it. And Baltimoreans rejected it. Just like they rejected all of their candidates in the primary election, they rejected this and have sent a signal that Baltimore is not for sale.
In a statement, PEACE said this is not the result the organization was hoping for, but far from the end. Meanwhile, statewide ballot question 1 was approved and cements reproductive freedoms into the Constitution, which according to experts can protect abortion, IVF, and access to contraception. According to Dr. Hartley, states that passed laws like this are sending a national message.
It's also telling elected leaders in the House and Senate that, wait a minute, you've got a lot of states that have already said no. It might lead those representatives in those states to speak a lot more loudly when that bill is introduced. And it will be introduced, but will it go very far? I think with states speaking like this, it probably won't.
A lot of political experts are saying that abortion is one of those key issues on the ballots in terms of ballot questions in so many states. This is a direct response, they say, to the overturning of Roe versus Wade several years ago. For now, reporting live outside Baltimore City Hall, Tara Lynch, WJZ.
All right, thank you very much, Tara.